The world is full of mysteries. Mysteries that confuse us, that entertain us, mysteries that even stump the most intelligent people in the world. Hi, I'm Jikes. So yeah, as you can tell, this is going to be a different kind of video. I've put a lot of effort in this video and I really hope you guys enjoy it because it took a lot of time to make. I'm trying to do something different. I'm trying to see what else I can do with this channel. Yeah, I've spent a lot of work on this. I had to go through so many sources because the Wikipedia article of this, it didn't have a lot of information. So yeah, I put a lot of effort into this video. I got a green screen, I got all dressed up. So yeah, if you actually want to help the channel, I just dropped brand new merch. It's the Jikes hoodie and I think it's actually really cool. I spent a long time designing it. But yeah, if you would be interested in supporting the channel, buying that hoodie would mean so much. Cause yeah, I would love to continue making videos like these. And with your support, I could make that possible. So yeah, be sure to subscribe, like, and buy a hoodie maybe. Now without further ado, I present to you The Hand of New Rocadia. The year is 1886. There is a small town called New Rocadia. It is in the northern part of Nevada. The majority of its residents came here at the height of the California gold rush. For a time, there were developments of starting a mine in the town, which eventually fell through, as it became clear the turnouts of the mine would be exceedingly poor. People did end up staying in the settlement, however, for the other qualities such as farming potential and already established businesses. Now, up until this point, there was little to note about New Rocadia, but that was until September 6th, 1886, when a mysterious event would occur. An event so mysterious, it baffles historians to this day. On the morning of September 6, 1886, a farmer made his way through the town to make his weekly trade with the town's shopkeeper. It was a regular routine at this point, only, as he was approaching the shop, the farmer noticed something on the ground. He walked over to it and began to pick it up. Suddenly, the town is awoken by a horrified scream. People begin exiting their homes to see what the commotion is. A crowd begins to form, and as each new person discovers the object, more panic begins to ensue. Eventually, the town sheriff makes his way to the center. His name is Heber Brown.
What is all this? Why is everybody gathered here?
He says. He then looks down and sees a disembodied hand laying on the ground. Heber is taken aback by the sight.
Oh my God. How could this have happened?
Heber's sheriff instincts begin to kick in, and he disperses the crowd.
Go on, get out of here. This is a police matter.
Heber tells his lieutenant to start taking account of everyone in town to see if anyone's missing, or at the very least, missing a hand. Heber tries to search the area, but everything has already been tampered with by the crowd. All Heber has to work with is the hand. He begins inspecting the hand. It was apparent that it was a male hand, likely belonging to someone in their 40s. The hand is very cold and feels like it was shriveling up. The cut that separated the hand from the body looked clean. Too clean. With the tools available at the time, there was no way a cut could have been made this clean. Amputations had to be made with a saw, but from the look of the cut, it appeared that the single slice caused it. Heber noticed a small golden ring on one of the fingers of the hand. Heber removes the ring from the hand and begins to inspect it. It has writing on it, but it is in English, Tout mon kia. Heber hypothesizes that it must be French, and he only knows one person in the town who can read French, old Miss Martin. She immigrated to America with her husband and now lives alone at the edge of town. Heber knocks on Miss Martin's door.
Hello, Mrs. Martin. I'm Sheriff Brown. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Oh, well, I suppose so.
Heber gets into the house and begins asking questions.
Does anyone else live in this house?
No, just me.
Didn't you move here with your husband some years back?
I did, but he passed 9 years ago.
How did he die?
He caught an illness in the winter. Forgive me, but does any of this have anything to do with the commotion that took place this morning?
That's why I'm here, yes. But you're not in trouble or anything? I just have to ask you a few questions. Like, what do you know of the commotion?
Not much, I'm afraid. I tend to stay clear of the town's gossip. I was hoping you would tell me.
Sure, but first, if you don't mind, do you happen to know what this writing says?
Where did you get this?
Do you recognize it?
Of course I do. This is my husband's ring.
Your husband's ring? Did you lose it recently?
No, he was buried with it.
Heber quickly brings Miss Martin outside.
Ma'am, do you recognize this hand?
How could I possibly recognize a hand?
Ma'am, this hand is where I found the ring of your husband. Do you think it could be his hand?
Of course not. It looks nothing like him. And besides, his hand is decomposed by now.
Heber tries to make sense of the situation.
Ma'am, do you know where your husband was buried?
Miss Martin leads Heber to the burial site. Heber brings a shovel in order to inspect the body, but when they get there, they see that the grave has in fact been dug up, and Mr. Martin's body missing. Miss Martin falls over distraught at the sight. Heber comforts her and asks her a few more questions.
So what does the ring say?
It's French, but it means all my heart. Both of our rings have the same message.
Was your husband buried with anything else that could have been of value?
No, he was buried with his clothes and this ring. We didn't have much, so I couldn't afford to bury him with anything valuable.
That's really odd. This may have been the work of a grave robber, but nobody would ever go through the trouble of digging someone up for such a simple ring.
Heber and Miss Martin return to the town, a crowd waiting for them. They force themselves past the crowd and into the station. Heber finds his lieutenant and asks him,
Did you tally up the town like I requested?
The lieutenant says yes, but everyone in the town is accounted for, and nobody has any injuries involving missing a hand.
This case is very odd. I've never seen one like it.
Heber notices that it begins to get dark.
Lieutenant, please escort Mrs. Martin home safely and tell the crowd not to bother her. She's not related to the hand and deserves her privacy.
Heber locks up the station, and he puts the hand in a box. He heads home pondering what could have possibly happened. The story only gets stranger from here. September 8th, 1886. Just 2 days after the incident, the town is awoken by a very loud noise. Several townspeople witness an impossible sight. They said they saw dozens of horses running through the town. Some even claimed that there were over 100. Though it was dark, some have claimed that they saw men in dark clothing guiding the horses. Their clothing was pitch black, making them near impossible to see. The galloping lasted for a couple of minutes, and soon the town was returned to its regular, quiet self. Sheriff Brown was notified, and he immediately went over to investigate. The dirt roads did show signs of unusual activity, but Heber found it hard to believe that there could be hundreds of horses passing through their town, especially at 4 a.m. The trail passes in front of the station, where Heber notices the door to the station is left wide open. Heber quickly runs into the station, with a gun in hand, searching for any intruders that may still be lurking about. He finds the station empty, and not only empty, practically untouched. It was exactly how he left it. Almost exactly. As Heber was searching the station, he finds out that the hand that was at the center of this mystery was gone. The next few days, Heber organizes a search. He inspects everyone's home in the town to see who could have possibly stolen the hand, but he doesn't find anything. On September 15th, Miss Martin barges into the station.
Sheriff Brown, you need to see this!
Miss Martin and Heber go back to the burial site of Mr. Martin, and Heber is absolutely shocked at what he finds. A huge hole was left where the grave of Mr. Martin was just a few days prior. The hole was nearly 10 feet deep, and seemed to have been impossible to be dug up in such a short amount of time. The news broke out, and it became a very popular topic in the western part of the country. For some time, people have made anonymous reports, claiming to have also found a hand or have had dozens of mysterious horsemen pass through their town. Now, obviously nothing was confirmed. Miss Martin died a couple of years after the incident. She endured 2 years of constant gossip and accusations due to her connection to the case. Nothing else of significance has ever been recorded in the town's history. One of the most popular theories was that there was something buried beneath Mr. Martin's grave that would explain why someone would go through the effort to dig in that spot. Conspiracy theories have also tried to tie the event to some sort of secret organization, like the Freemasons. Now, to this day, this subject still holds the interest of many historians. At one point, a movie of the situation was being developed, though it was eventually cancelled for undisclosed reasons.